So, our next presenter is Dr. Jae Young. Dr. Jae Young is well famous in his research in career decision by the gifted students. Please welcome Jae Young.
Can you all hear me well? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Great. Thank you. Hey, first of all, thank you, Medtech, for introducing me. I'd like to thank the organizers of this conference for inviting me to present at this symposium. I'd also like to thank my fellow presenters, Dr. Medtech Yuan and Dr. Seren Chan, for sharing this session with me. Today, I'll be talking about the career development of gifted students in the Asian context. My name is Jae Jung, and I'm at the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. First of all, there's a general paucity of research on the career decisions of gifted students in the Asian region. You won't be surprised to know that most of the research in the area relates to gifted students living in Western society. So most of the research originates in countries like the United States, Australia, Canada, and a number of European countries. Having said this, it does appear that there are both similarities and differences in the ways that gifted students in Asian contexts compared to Western contexts approach the career decision. And this is no doubt due to the fact that gifted students around the world share similar characteristics and traits. The differences probably stem from the different environmental settings, the different cultures that gifted students in different parts of the world are exposed to. I'll first of all go through some of the commonly identified issues relating to the career decision that exists in the literature, most of which originates from Western countries. First of all, career decisions tend to be influenced by the areas of ability and the interests of the gifted student, also multi-potentiality, so the capabilities and interests. Most gifted students are capable and interested in, have capabilities and interests in multiple areas, and this may complicate the career decision for some, not all, gifted students. Also, tendencies for perfectionism, a desire for intellectual stimulation and challenge, and this also extends into educational contexts as well. Gifted students have a desire for intellectual stimulation and challenge in their learning as well as in their future careers. Also, high expectations which may be self-imposed or which may reflect expectations from significant others in the lives of gifted students. These high expectations also relate to a desire for entry into prestigious careers, high-paying careers, and the fulfillment of one's potential. Also, you may be interested to know that even in Western contexts, most gifted students appear to have a preference to pursue careers in careers that are seen as compatible with their gender. So boys are more likely to aspire to careers that are considered to be masculine. Girls are more likely to be pursuing careers that are considered feminine. Also, the issue of career indecision, difficulties with making the career decision, delays in making the career decision, changes to the career decision. This appears to be a greater issue for gifted students than non-gifted students. Having said all this, gifted students do appear to have a superior access to career information, perhaps reflecting a greater proactivity, a greater sophistication in their search for career information. Also, an early emergence of career interests. Some studies suggest that gifted students have clear ideas about their future career from as early as the upper years of primary school, upper years of elementary school. Now, I've just outlined some of the repeatedly identified issues that gifted students are faced with when they approach their career decisions. Many of these issues are also faced by gifted students in the Asia-Pacific region. Having said that, different issues appear to have different levels of salience for gifted students in the Asian context. Finally, the desire for unoriginal and traditional careers in the professions that you might be aware of. Okay. Now, in the Asia-Pacific, in the Asian region, some of the key influences which have been noted in the list above, family influence appears to be very pervasive among in the career considerations of gifted students in the Asian region. This may be reflective of Confucianism in those Asian societies that espouse Confucianism, countries like China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Vietnam. Confucianism encompasses unequal relations among people, need for righteousness and propriety in human relations, a focus on the family unit, etc. This means that many gifted students who live in cultures that espouse Confucianism will listen and strongly consider the family beliefs, perspective, etc., on their future career. And even outside of Confucianist cultures, outside of East Asia, most Asian cultures can be seen as collectivist cultures, where people are considered to be part of collectives, show a tendency to prioritize the goals of these collectives over one's personal goals, and are primarily motivated by the expectations of these collectives. Now, for gifted students living in collectivist cultures, the collective of interest, the collective of importance is the family unit. And hence, in these cultures, there is a tendency for gifted students to prioritize the wishes, the desires, the perspectives of the family ahead of one's own personal beliefs. So that's one big influence in the Asian context. A second substantial influence is a desire for prestigious careers that allow for recognition from others, careers that bring substantial economic reward, and careers that offer a lot of stability. So there's a clear encouragement of professional type careers, and this is also the case in Western societies, but it appears that this is an even greater issue. This is more magnified in Asian contexts. So there's an encouragement of professional type careers, and this is some evidence from the research. So in the study with Chinese families by Hu and Long, Chinese families consider prestige to be one of the most important factors in career selection. Kim with Korean students found that Korean students have a tendency to make decisions about their course of university study on the basis of social prestige and economic returns rather than on one's ability or personal interest. In India, prestige and respectability appear to be two of the most powerful factors in the career decision. And in Turkey, this is a study by Ogurlu and associates. Some of the key aspirations of gifted Turkish students was toward prestigious careers, well-paying careers, and safe careers. So there's an obvious pattern. So Asia is a very diverse continent. Having said this, there's this constant theme that demonstrates the importance of prestige, economic returns, and stability in the career decision. Also, in the more underdeveloped parts of Asia, the desire for prestige, economic stability. This may stem from desire for survival and the better life, and this aligns with the research on the career decisions of gifted students of economically disadvantaged backgrounds, including research that I've done, which shows that in these situations, under these conditions, personal preferences, personal interests, they take a back seat to things like prestige, economic reward, and stability. Another factor is gender role. Gender role is a factor even in Western societies. This is even more magnified in the Asian context. There appear to be clear differences in the careers that boys are expected to go into and the careers that girls are expected to go into. And this may be a reflection of socialization practices with children. This may be a reflection of very clear distinctions between roles of women and men in society. Also, the perception that role models, mentors of a certain gender will only exist in certain career fields. So a definite aspiration toward gender-compatible careers among gifted students in the region. Having said this, though, and as for the case in Western societies, gifted girls appear to have more leeway. Gifted girls appear to be more likely than gifted boys to cross gender boundaries in their career decisions. And career indecision, I've mentioned this previously, difficulties in making the career decision, prolonged periods of time with anxiety, with stress, in making the career decision. And this may reflect a couple of factors. Number one, possible differences between expectations of the family and one's own personal preferences. Also, the excessively high parental or family expectations, perhaps a concern, perhaps a disbelief that one will be able to live up to these high expectations. Also, the career decision may stem from internal factors, internal conflicts within the gifted student, within the gifted child, about his or her capability in multiple fields simultaneously, about whether should I go for a career that's compatible with my area of ability, or should I go for a career that's compatible with my area of interest. Other factors, less salient factors, appear to be things like one's area of ability, one's area of interest, multi-potentiality, one's perfectionistic tendencies, and the desire for intellectual challenge and stimulation. These factors may not be considered to be very important. They may be considered to be of secondary importance. These factors may be considered as luxuries that are relegated to secondary importance. And nevertheless, because these factors will nevertheless be personally important for gifted students, this may be, these sorts of factors may be pursued as hobbies or recreational pursuits or even part-time secondary careers that these students eventually go into. In terms of the career aspirations of gifted students in the region, in terms of the actual type of career, they appear to prefer investigative type careers, so careers in fields like engineering, physical sciences, health, communications, technology that are characterized by analytical, intellectual, and scholarly activities. And this is largely also the case for gifted students in Western societies. Nevertheless, the range of careers that are considered appear to be even narrower than the range of careers considered by gifted students in Western societies. And this may be a reflection of the parameters that are indirectly or directly set by the families, parents of these students. So, for example, in India, only 3 or 4 careers are considered good careers by middle-class families. Hu and Long noted that some parents may effectively filter the range of careers for their children in China. In Leong and South Africa, they studied a related population, Asian American students, and they noted that even among Asian American students, they tend to be less open to the entire range of careers that are available to the rest of the adolescent population in the United States. Okay, I'm now going to discuss a couple of theories, of career theories, may be useful in understanding and explaining the career decisions of gifted students in the Asian context. Number one, the theory of circumscription and compromise. and also the theory of work adjustment. Both of these theories have been used quite extensively to investigate the career decisions of gifted students generally. However, I'm going to show you that how they are also relevant to understanding and explaining the career decisions of gifted students in the Asian context as well. Okay, firstly, the theory of circumscription and compromise, developed by Linda Gottfredson. Under this theory, a career decision is seen to be arrived at after 4 stages. Phase 1, familiarization with the various careers. What happens, what one does in these careers, what the conditions of these careers are, what the rewards are. Number 2, then developing the interests, skills, and values, goals related to the career. And then stage 3 is the first stage of elimination of the various options. The important criteria in the elimination of the career options are things like gender, role, prestige, personal interests, difficulty of the career, income, and education. And then the final stage of elimination on the basis of the accessibility of the remaining careers, on the basis of things like the availability of education or training, the availability of employment opportunities, and the existence or otherwise of support from one's parents. And I'm sure you've been able to recognize some of the key issues that are most salient to gifted students in the Asian context here. Things like gender role, prestige, income, support for parents. These all feature in this theory of circumscription and compromise. This theory is obviously relevant because these factors are recognized in the 3rd or 4th phases of the study, and also because of the minimal attention given to factors such as a desire for intellectual stimulation, multipotentiality, and perfectionism. This aligns with the lack of attention to these issues, to these factors by many gifted students in Asia. And also, the name of the theory, it's called the theory of circumscription and compromise. Compromise is probably a term that may be used to usefully describe the career decisions of gifted students in the Asia Pacific region. Compromise in terms of one's personal preferences and the preferences of others that one needs to take into consideration. And then the theory of work adjustment. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this theory, which has been used extensively by scholars like David Lubinsky, Camilla Bembao, and their associates in the study of mathematically precocious youth. Under this theory, the optimal career decision is deemed to have been achieved when there is a correspondence between an individual's abilities and the ability requirements of the career, and also the rewards offered by the career and what the individual needs are. And if multiple careers satisfy both of these requirements, then you look at other things like one's vocational interests, family expectations, family culture, family SES, etc. Now, this also is relevant and useful for gifted students in the Asia Pacific region because family influence is a consideration when multiple realistic career options exist, and also prestige, income, and stability. You know how one of the conditions that need to be satisfied under this theory is that rewards of the career need to correspond with the individual needs. Prestige, income, and stability may qualify as these individual needs that should be satisfied in a career. So these elements suggest that the theory of work adjustment is also a useful theory to understand the career decisions of gifted students. Having said this, though, there's nothing really about gender role expectations or career indecision in this theory. And for this reason, I believe that the theory of circumscription and compromise is a marginally superior theory in understanding and explaining the career decisions of gifted students. Okay, finally, I'm going to go into the future of the career decisions of gifted students in the Asian region. The work environment of the future is likely to be very different to the work environment of today. In the future, there will obviously be developments in technology, which means that there will be greater, there will be fewer labor-intensive roles. There will be greater automation. At the same time, I expect that there will be an increase in a number of new careers that require diverse skill sets. These careers don't exist at the present time. Also, there will be greater internationalization and globalization, which may mean that there's a greater acceptance of non-traditional values and approaches to the career decision. And this may mean that one's personal beliefs, one's personal values, this may take on greater importance in the future. Also, this may mean that gender inequity may be reduced. It will be more acceptable in the future, even in the Asian region, to cross gender boundaries in the selection of one's future career. Also, because of the anticipated rapid changes, it's expected that employers will likely try to adapt to the situation. They will try to be more flexible and adaptive by becoming increasingly reluctant to offer permanent positions in the future. So in the future, there's going to be more part-time roles, more temporary roles, more movement between the roles, more movement between organizations, and more movement between cultures. And in this context, I feel that gifted students will be uniquely advantaged because of their characteristics. So their capabilities and interests in multiple areas may mean that gifted students will be better suited than non-gifted students to the new range of complex intellectual and creative careers. Their multi-potentiality may mean that they are better than anyone else to continuously seek new positions and to adapt to new work environments. And in this situation where gifted students need to undergo retraining or re-education to adapt to changes, or even to change careers because their careers become obsolete, they will again be advantaged because of their motivation, because of their abilities for lifelong learning. And that's it. Thank you.